Do you ever think about why you think the way you do? Do you know that your parents have a lot to do with this? And that this is one of the reasons that becoming a caregiver for our parent is so emotionally difficult. We all have an internal commentary that runs in the back of our mind. I've heard it called the monkey mind, which makes a lot of sense to me. It's like our thoughts go from one to another to another to another, like a monkey jumping from one branch to another to another. There's a lot of other names for it. Some people call it the inner dialogue, our inner critic, our saboteur voices. And this internal dialogue is shaped by our parents. Our parents are the first people in our lives who help to guide us. And as we learn and absorb these through them, they affect how we see the world, how we see ourselves in the world, how we react to things in our world. The intention of this monkey mind is to emotionally protect us, very much like we used our parents for physical survival. In the same way, we use them for emotional survival. The origin of them was good. It was to protect us. And in all fairness, our parents didn't do anything wrong. It wasn't like there was anything purposeful. We don't have to blame our parents. It can be very powerful to look at where these voices, where this internal dialogue started. Our parents' behaviors, their words, their actions, and our interpretation of all of those things through our child's mind greatly impact what becomes our inner critic. And the shaping of this internal dialogue takes different forms. I'm going to quickly cover 6 of those that we often see. The first one is verbal criticism. So if we hear constant criticism from our parents, it could even be their own self-criticism, criticism towards us, or criticism toward others. Things like you're not good enough, you always mess things up, or you should be more like your sister or brother is. Those are examples of verbal criticism that we internalize, that becomes our own self-talk. The second one is that we could model behavior that we see them do. When we see how they handle stress and conflict or their own self-esteem issues, where we might see them being either overly critical, constantly worrying, or avoiding confrontation. The third one is unspoken cues. This could include things like tension, if your parent feels tense all the time. It could be in their body language or their reactions to things that, from our child's perspective, we might interpret in a certain way. So if we don't get our parents' attention, if we don't get their eye contact, we may interpret that to mean we're not worthy. The fourth one is comparison. If we're constantly being compared to a sibling, or even our parents themselves, I used to do this, I was good at this, it can lead to a feeling of inadequacy or a push and a need to live up to expectations we're seeing through our parents. The fifth one is conditional love. So that's the feeling that we receive love if we do certain things, if we act a certain way, if we take certain actions, if we play certain sports, which leads to then needing external validation for everything we do. And so you can imagine what that voice might say to us as we become adults. And then the sixth one is self-imposed pressure. So sometimes we might internalize our parents' unfulfilled dreams or what they expect or wish for us. So as a parent, I might want my child to compete in beauty contests. And so I push my child to do that, to compete in something that they don't necessarily want to compete in, but they're doing it so that they can get the feeling of love from us. So all of these things, whether spoken or unspoken, contribute to what becomes our inner critic. And that inner critic impacts our thoughts, our feelings, our emotional responses, our reactions to what happens to us in the world. And a lot of times we've spent a lot of our adulthood trying to undo some of the things that we absorbed in our childhood. We tend to cling to one or a few of these really strong guiding voices. And those are the ones that often carry into our adulthood and lead to dysfunctional or at least not helpful ways of dealing with our life. Once we develop these internal voices, our mind doesn't want to let go very easily. Our brain wants to use as little energy as possible. So it wants to turn as much as possible into a habit. That means that once we've run a thought enough times, it will attempt to make it into a habit. By the time I'm an adult, it feels like that's just a part of who I am. That's a part of how I think, how I interact in the world. So I'll give a real example of how this might impact you. So when I was a child, I had 2 younger sisters, and I overheard my father talking to a friend of his about how the next younger sister was so easygoing, quiet, just kind of went with the flow. And I overheard that and interpreted that to mean that in order for me to be more liked by Dad, I needed to be quieter, more go with the flow. And I was a very opinionated, strong-willed kid. So it took many years for me to see that and the impact that it had on my life, which led to some actions in my adulthood of not speaking up when I really felt like I wanted to. And also causing a lot of internal turmoil because I was trying to be somebody I really wasn't. So going back to the idea that our brain wants to make things into a habit, we can kind of see that by the time we're adults, some of these inner critic voices can be really loud, potentially overused, and our mind has then made them into a habit of thinking. But just like as we grow, we replace our physical survival strategies with ones that are better suited to adulthood. Hopefully we do the same thing with our emotional survival strategies. But what often happens is these thought patterns, this inner dialogue, these saboteur voices become habits. As we become caregivers to our parent, we are back in close proximity to the source of where those internal voices began. Just like in those movies you see when an adult child goes back to their childhood home for the holidays or whatever, and they revert back to some of the behaviors, some of the thinking, some of the feeling that they had when they were teenagers. I feel like a similar thing happens often when we go back and become caregivers to a parent. We're in close proximity again to the source of where our inner critic voices started. So that's one of the reasons it can be so hard emotionally when we become a caregiver to a parent. Not only are we dealing with the day-to-day things of being a caregiver, and even the emotional part of watching our parent who might suffer from dementia as they lose their personality and they kind of lose who they are. But it also brings up in us a lot of potentially unconscious emotional stuff that we may not have addressed. So now, not only is it really difficult to do all the caregiving tasks, but now we have this internal struggle. But I want to tell you that it doesn't have to be that way. As adults, we now have the choice to start to look at some of that and to work on changing some of that internal dialogue. That can lead to not only better caregiving, but us feeling better as we do it. And even as we come out the other side and we're done with our caregiving role, it can change our whole lives as we process through some of the stuff that's been probably holding us back for a good part of our lives. We want to be able to look at what some of these emotional obstacles are. Because if we're choosing to continue down this path as caregivers to our parent, wouldn't it be better to be able to manage some of this emotional turmoil that many caregivers go through? Imagine going through your day without this negative self-talk running in the background all the time. Can you imagine how much easier caregiving could be? It really is possible to get some control over that. The first step is being aware that this stuff is happening to us. Emotional intelligence plays a huge role in this. In the next video in this series, I'm going to talk about emotional intelligence, which is a great way to counteract all of this negative self-talk that often comes up as we become caregivers for a parent. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it to be helpful, please like and share it. Add any comments in the comment section below. Please subscribe to my channel where I'll have a lot more videos like this to make it a little bit easier to be a caregiver, especially in the close relationship of a parent. Thank you.